Okay, so instead of open the file, we're going to create reference. And as you can see it, because we're using a set project, it opens right to that directory, and I'm going to load in the ikjoe as a reference. And I know this is approximately where the building is, so I'm just going to move it out of the way so it doesn't get um, difficult to select. And then I'm going to also create a reference of the buildings. And what's going to happen is this is going to be uh, if you just saved one version of it, there'd be no savings. But if you have multiple versions, and it's almost impossible to do animation without doing multiple versions, it's going to save you on every other file. So you can see that the file exists in 3 dimensions. Joe, there's a different Joe in the old. There's an old skeleton there that I couldn't select, but if I had done this, set this up myself, wouldn't have been a big problem. So I'm going to go ahead and save this scene. Save scene as, and I'll call this layout 1. And now we'll take a look at it in my directory here, my scenes directory, Joe and City scenes. And you can see that these two together are over 10 megabytes. Or 10,000K. This is 80K. So, quite a difference. And if I were to just say, okay, brand new scene, and open it. Now this is that 80K file. It's a reference. Now the big drawback to reference is that you have to make sure you have that, if you carry it to another computer or send it to me, that I have the other versions. Now, I haven't really done this in class, and it might be better just to use a placekeeper here. But as long as I have the reference previously saved, I can access it. I can move it over into the other directory. What I normally do if I'm going to transport it somewhere is I take this entire. Let me go up one. I would take this entire Joe in City. This is the new one. That's the old one. That whole directory, and it's now there's not a big savings because this has everything in it. So it's I was thinking about, but like I say, every time I create a new animation, I'm going to save it with references to these files. So I'll only have to save it once. I don't have to keep resaving the model. Now there's another, if you really want to get into this stuff, there's another approach you can take to buildings, and I don't know that I would recommend it, but I'll show it anyway. Let's just create a polygon plane, and we'll rotate it upward and make that 90 so it's straight up. And let's get it more or less the shape I want. Move it so it's kind of sitting on top of the floor, and push F6 so we can see it. And then you right click. I find this is the easiest way to do it. Assign new material. I always use blend. It's kind of a good all-purpose texture. And you click on this little checker box. I'm going to go fast through this because it's not something I expect everybody to do. Oh, actually, before we do anything else, let's go in here and get our source images. And I have a source image that I created. I think it's over here. Yeah, let's put it here. I'm going to go and put it in the directory. And this is just a photo I took, and so we'll go here and select the folder, and it's a photo I took, and I actually painted out a little bit because there were actually some cars parked in here. And you can see that there's a building. You don't want to get too close to it because there's no perspective to it. Or you could actually, if you wanted to, you could extrude this thing, and it would sort of have some depth. Let's undo that. It doesn't look so great. But it's not too terrible, especially if you had a bunch of them and you just had it off in the distance. So that's another solution. You can also just say, I just want to create a polygon cube, and then you make it, into your building. That this is your placekeeper for a building, and that's all that I would require for your building. And you could texture map something on that if you're into texturing. So that's about it. Write me if you have any questions.